Nerd Soul.
Lay ill kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. Let's go because we talking about that evil, y'all. And we ain't by ourselves. Nah, 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 nah. We got the cinematic sorcerer in the house. Solar Gray, say what's up.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, coming at you from the Wizard's Tower.
Oh yeah, and uh, uh, evil is back. All right. Some would say that evil is good, but evil is back. And Mr. Sorcerer, if you will, give me your initial thoughts coming into this season, season 4, which is the sort of second to last / last season, because they're sort of splitting this season into 2 because season 5 is only going to have 4 episodes, so it's kind of the last season, but it's sort of not. But how you feeling? We got 2 episodes and how you feeling? We're back in the evil world. What's going on?
It makes this job hard. I don't know what it is about 2024, but all of the shows that we're talking about are ending.
Yeah, we got this, and then after the finale of this season, they'll have 1 week break, and then they'll give us the last 4 episodes in season 5. So it'll just continue on through, I guess, the summer, basically.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. So with this, at time of recording, we are what, 2 episodes in?
Yep.
Yeah, 2 episodes in at time of recording. And I was so happy to see that it was back. So happy to see that it was back because, oh my God, the antics. The antics. But what I will say was that last season did something very interesting.
Okay.
Which was, when we're watching this show, we like the characters. The storyline is, yeah, it's all right. But we love the characters, but there's always just one blazing question. And last season kind of touched on it, which is, why would anybody join the bad guys? Like, it's
yeah.
You know? And last season, it gave us that slippery slope of that downward trajectory with the psychiatrist and him writing his book.
Yep.
You know? And I thought that was neat. My girlfriend at the time spoke a little French, and she laughed at the song that they did with the doctor and the animation that went with it. And that was so fun. I'm like, this is coming off like such a dark comedy. I am with it, you know. So anybody who is in who knows somebody in preschool, yeah, the song Alouette is just as dark as they showed it.
Wow.
I'm like, oh wow. Yeah, essentially it's little bird, look at you fly with your pretty feathers. I'm going to find you, pluck your feathers, and make a pen.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, go up to Google Translate. And so yeah, that was very fascinating to watch how all that stuff came down. But we saw the small levels of indoctrination come the end of the season when they went to the, hey look, we've got an add-on in the house, and they pretty much said, yeah, season 5 we're dealing with the baby. Okay, yeah, season 5 baby, yeah, all right, cool. And this season picks up and it adds a little bit of spice to a couple of things.
Okay.
We have no idea what's going on with Katja Berber's character. What's her name?
Kristen.
Yeah, Kristen is, I have no idea. Because, you know, at the opening of the season, at season 5, episode 1, she finds out what happens to her egg. She sees it for proof, finds out that her mom is working for the bad guys, just laughs, and then goes home. And part of me kind of got it with the,
it's like, this is so crazy. What am I gonna do? This is so crazy. But yeah, go ahead. My bad.
Well, yeah, it's the, Okay, I'm done. All right, fine, I quit. I'm done. I'm all you guys. But she didn't move. She didn't pack up the family and go to Aruba, you know. And she kept the job because we need to have a show.
Yeah, because there's. I'll let you finish how you feel about it, because there's. I've rewatched this show from the beginning, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. So, man, you got some thoughts on this one. Let's see here. One, I will say the parts that I like. As an occultist, okay, I really, 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 really like the way that they have been portraying the way that magic is done. I thought that's really cool. A lot of effects, not a lot of flashing lights, and a lot of modern stuff. You know, when you see magic being portrayed in most things, you see like Eye of Newt, Tongue of Dog. I have to go to this far away mountain covered in ninjas to get this rare plant, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, no, I got a head in a jar. Or, you know, hey, look, I've got a kid's toy. This'll work. This'll work. And I bring that up because we finally meet the Feliz Navidad goat in this season, which is very cool. But yeah, it's really interesting because they left us with a couple of threads that I'm hoping they'll pick up, but I don't know because the writer's strike happened, you know?
True.
Because in season 4, like, okay, Michael literally saw David finally, played by Michael Coulter. He finally saw an angel that talked to him. And I'm like, all right, we're getting something from the other side. Let's do this. And, you know, nah, they haven't really followed that back up except for, and what did it say to you? Okay, cool. Thanks. La 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 la.
It's like goodbye.
You know. But so far, I like the character development they're doing with Asif Mamvi.
Okay.
You know, because as the absolute atheist scientist, they've been pushing him toward that for a long time.
True.
Where it's like, hey, look, I'm in a cave where an elevator isn't supposed to go, and I'm looking at a demon. Hi, demon. And I love the fact that they are making very clear, though he is atheist and spiritual belief, he's Muslim and culture. Because it's like, okay, you're a jinn. Good to know. So, how do you work?
And like trying to figure out the light, and like the jinn is like, it's not the light. It's not the light. Like, I see you trying to figure this out, but it's not the light. I'm not from this realm, so I'm not bound to this realm's like. But it's like, you know, I mean, okay, go on, try to do your thing. I mean, all right, if that's what you think you need to do.
Yeah. So I find it interesting that the writers are leaning into science, because the first episode we deal with a hadron collider. Okay, let's talk about the hadron collider. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's play with this for a little bit. Major shouts out to Sean Wallace, because I always like seeing him and stuff. I have ever since The Princess Bride. It's just, you know, that's part of my member berries. Even though it's inconceivable. Yeah, I reached a long way for that joke. And I like the way that he's running the team, you know, which is, all right, so I got this thing and you guys check it out. By the way, I don't believe in this stuff.
And then, because I remember being like, hold up, you don't believe in this? So, okay. I mean, I thought believing in this stuff was kind of like, you know, one of the prerequisites for this.
Everybody has a boss. And if
It's
the
like,
boss says send the team, you send the team.
oh man. All right, so the season's back. I mean, the show is back for season 4. We're stepping into season 4. We got the first 2 episodes. When I saw this show was back, I ran back and watched all 3 seasons real quick to get caught up on any little stuff that I might have missed.
Okay.
And the biggest thing that is annoying about this show, and not just this show, a lot of shows do this so that the plot can happen, but I think the plot can still happen. You just have to do smarter things.
Mm-hmm.
But these people never talk.
Yeah.
They never talk to each other.
Yeah. It's
And and working in something like this as tightly as they work together, there's no way that Ben doesn't say, "Hey man, look, I don't believe this stuff, but I saw this." Or Kristen saying like, "Look, I'm having these dreams. This is what it looks like." Or, they never compare notes for a team that's working together to compare notes on these assessments. And it's frustrating.
I ain't gonna lie, man. You nailed a really big point.
That's
Have I ever
the
told
biggest,
you-
that's my biggest like gripe about this show.
Like, bro, have I ever told you my least favorite Shakespearean play?
What?
Othello.
Okay.
Absolute least favorite. And people are like, "What? You don't like the show starring a black man?" No, I don't. Because the whole tragedy of Othello, the whole thing, could have been stopped with a single conversation. Just a man and his wife sitting down and him going, "Yo, what's up? Are you hitting Christian or not?" And that could have avoided the whole thing. Like, cause
True.
I heard from Yago that you were, screwing around on me, and I already have it bad enough here. Can we talk? And that's it. Then kill Yago, different play, happy ending, moving on. Okay, one conversation. Unlike Titus Andronicus, which was a series of unfortunate events, or King Lear, which was a series of unfortunate events brought on by one bad decision. So I'm right there with you.
It's like, okay.
They like, hey, David, I just had some funny dreams and I found a severed head in my toilet.
Thank you. Like, okay, when they're moving the bed, because Andy comes home, he's like, "Hey, I learned this feng shui stuff. I'm gonna move the bed," and Lynn is helping him. So okay, he goes, "Oh, is it Lila? No, it's Lynn. I think it's the oldest girl." So anyway, they're moving the bed, and he finds a jar with a shrunken head in it. How is that not a call the wife moment? Like, yo, did you know there's a shrunken head under the bed? No. What do you mean there's a shrunken head? I'm gonna send you a picture of it. This was under our bed. Who put it there? We know the girls didn't put it there. Who do we know who's been in and or around the house who's into this demonic stuff? Leland. Okay. It's since Leland doesn't have a key to the home, who has access to this home? Mama. So is nobody does these things. So all right, then it's season 3. All right, guys, I promise I'm not gonna give no more gripes. I'm gonna just get to season 4. But it's season 3.
I say let it out, bro. Let it out.
They the girls, which are the best detectives in the show, I can watch
the best characters.
I could watch a Scooby-Doo show of just the girls solving stuff because they be solving.
Bruh. Shut up and take my money. Yeah, Paramount, make it so.
Yeah, he's like, your husband's dead. Too bad it was an avalanche. And they were like, hold up.
We got this thing called the internet.
Let's ping Leland real quick. When that sound came on in that room, and even Laura had a conversation with Ben before she went to sleep, why didn't Ben say, hold on? So y'all messaged Leland and Andy's boss's phone. You heard it on Andy's boss's Zoom or Skype call. That means that Leland and the guy who's quote Andy's boss or the buying the company are working together. We don't know why, but we know they are. It's worth looking into. It's just dropped. They didn't even say anything else about it.
Again, I'm right there with you, and
I'm like, my man, y'all are in danger on all sides, and like, ain't nobody communicating nothing.
you know. But pride goeth before the fall.
Boy, and it. Why is Kristen still letting her mom around? Once she found out that she was still even around Leland at all, she should have been like, "Look, you can't be in here." Like after she changed the locks, she should have just stood on business, as they say. Like she should have been like, "No, you ain't never allowed in here no more. I ain't letting you back in the. I ain't letting you back in the garage. Nothing. You ain't living nowhere. I don't care whether my husband is here or not. You are not allowed here."
Okay, in all fairness, she finally stood on business this season.
Yeah, she's starting right now, and in season 4 she's starting. But it's just when you watch season 1, 2, and 3 back to back, it's like, all right, there's something I will. All right, so there's things I will say that's great about this show. Sister Andrea is probably one of the best Yoda-like characters in a long time.
I got 3 words for Sister Andrea.
Oh, what's up?
Needs more screen time.
Oh, definitely. And I love Grace. I really do love Grace. Even though she's not on the screen a lot, I like her, especially her energy around the girls. Like I really like her. I like her like demeanor. I like her. But yeah, man, Kristen be getting on my nerves. Cheryl ain't poop. All right, Cheryl ain't nothing. No, these are your grandchildren.
Yeah, Cheryl is.
These ain't like kids you don't know. Boat. These are your grandchildren. Like, bruh, like Cheryl ain't nothing, boy. But all right, so rant over now.
Okay.
Now.
So, Hadron Collider.
Yes.
I gotta say, I thought that was a very now. I'm gonna go on a tiny little rant, just a tiny one, because I'm an older man, and what I got to say is how can I put it? Paramount, yeah, it is Paramount. All right, give your FX team more time. Because the green screen,
some of this was looking shoddy, bro. It was looking shoddy in them streets.
And the fact of the matter is, I don't care. Okay, I mean, even though I'm Generation X and we pretty much wrote the book on cynicism, I don't care. But I noticed that the CGI is looking pretty CGI.
Yeah,
and that's going to cost you viewers in future shows.
Yeah, so, it took a dip in this episode for real.
Yeah, so I'm like, yo, let your 3D animators let them cook just as much as you let your practical guys cook, and then you'll have something. Hire the same practical team for your next supernatural show because those guys are on point. But yeah, your CGI guys, not great.
They was super rushed on this.
Now, the first episode, I dig the case, and I realize that this is just a dressed up police procedural. But the case with the Hadron,
evil is essentially an X-Files baby.
Yeah,
like evil
with
the evil fringe. Shoot, Supernatural even makes fun of itself as being an X-Files baby and kind of like a goofy way sometimes.
Don't give me a reason to watch that show. I've avoided it this long.
I love Supernatural in its kind of like campy way, but Dean and Sam, boy. But anyway,
yeah. So yeah, I really like that the case was revolving around. Look, we are playing with science that we don't quite understand in order to understand it, and it's like, yeah. And this could be a consequence. I loved the scientist from the Vatican. I thought he was such a breath of fresh air. Mm-hmm. Where he was like, what? Do we believe that it'll open a portal to hell and all that stuff? No. No, the Vatican doesn't believe that stuff. However, if this could open a singularity and suck in the entire country, we might want to say something about it. I'm like,
And it's
Amen.
funny. It's funny the amount of people that you find in the Catholic Church in this show. They're like, yeah, I don't believe in demons. It's like, but you know, like I don't know if you know. Have you perused through this book in a while? Because it definitely talks about demons,
Bruh,
not only in the metaphorical sense, but also in the very literal sense.
in your day job, how many people actually believe in the company and what they do, and how many are there because it's the best job they could get?
Good point. Yeah, good point. But see, the only thing is, this isn't Pizza Hut. Like this is the whole job is based around believing in God, believing in angels, believing in demons, not only metaphorical demons, not only spirits that can overtake you, but actual physical walking around in physical 3D space demons.
Not every aspect of the Catholic Church. There are some that are in the Catholic Church because they're good accountants. That's why the Catholic Church has so many denominations. The Dominicans don't believe the same thing as the Franciscans. The Franciscans don't believe the same thing as the Jesuits. The Jesuits were seriously all right, let's go kick butt for the Lord section of the Catholic Church, it is a huge organization with a lot of history behind it. It cannot be made up of nothing but true believers.
True. I'll give you that. You're right. It's just weird when you're like, it's like, yeah, I don't believe in demons. I don't believe in like supernatural. It's like, this isn't the right job for that particularly. Like if you were working at a record shop and you were like, I don't like music, it's like, hey man, it's just a job. But but it's like this doesn't seem like the one for you. But yeah, it's
a lot of the priests still believe in community service. They still believe in doing good.
Yeah.
They still believe in helping out their community. And let's be real, black man to black man, how many people in your church believe?
Yeah, okay. All right. You know what? I'm gonna take a little bit of a detour real quick. All right, so I remember being in a young adult meeting at church a long time ago, and this young lady that I knew said she was looking for a good, strong, God-fearing man, and I was like, "No, you're not." And she was like, "What? I need a good, strong, God-fearing man." I was like, "You want a man that goes to church every Sunday?" But you don't want a real God-fearing man, because a real God-fearing man is probably not going to like everything you do. And he's probably going to want to change some things you do and or put restrictions and or guidelines, because he's put those same restrictions and or guidelines on himself because he's a real God-fearing man. You don't want that. You want somebody for appearances that looks good. Your mama can be like, oh, he's at church, and people can like, y'all can be a good couple looking, but you don't really want like a devout man that's praying to God for like direction, and you don't want that. You don't really want that. It's if you do, sure, but it's like, I kind of know how you move, so no, you don't. It's like I was like, no, you don't. And people were like laughing. I was like, you want a guy that goes to church that like looks good. It looks good for like the couple thing, but you don't really want a man of God like that. Because a man of God is going to be like, all right, honey, instead of us making a snap decision, we need to pray on this. We need to, sit together and pray on this and think about it. Be like, pray. I'm like, look, it's so when you put it on this show, they're like, you don't really want David there, because David going to be like, we need to pray.
I'm literally putting that out there, because again, there is a job and there is a lifestyle.
True.
One of my very, very strong Christian friends, and believe me, guys, it's not just to rip on religion or on the church or anything like that. Just follow us for the show.
The show is about religion, guys. Come on.
But a friend of mine said that he met a pastor that said he preaches the word every day. but only when he had to. He used words.
Okay.
Let me say that again.
I see where he's coming from.
I said he preaches the word every day, but only when he had to. He used his words. He used his words when?
Man, only when he had to.
Only when he had to.
Your life should be an example of Christ. But that's a whole. Come on, guys. Come on. That's a whole other thing. We ain't gonna shower you with that. We gonna get back to the show. Even the show is a religious show, but
so when the priest from the Vatican popped up, talking, look, we don't know how safe they're being with that Hadron Collider, and it's like, what you believe they're gonna open a portal to hell? Portal to hell, black hole, don't care, don't want people to die. Can y'all look into it, please? I'm like, yo, he should be. He's the one that should be doling out these assignments.
He's like, look, all I know is it looks dangerous, because even Victor LeConte from the quote entity or whatever, he was like, look, I don't really believe in demons, but I do believe in evil people, and I deal with beating up the evil people.
Like, that's my whole job. And that's why I gotta quit.
He was like, basically, I'm passing you off to the new guy because I don't handle this.
So So Luke Cage, meet the High Evolutionary. Let's move on.
What? That's absolutely true. When I saw him, I was like, hey.
Yeah. But yeah. The whole case. I'm just kind of sitting up going, yeah, there's got to be cult interference with this, because I've worked in labs. Now, I have never worked for CERN. Okay. I've never worked on anything that required that kind of clearance. Okay. However, any lab that's dealing with billions of dollars of equipment and personnel would not leave a giant gaping hole to nowhere inside the workstation. It's like, oh yeah, no, this is where we get the protons together. Yes, this is where we hypercharge the ion particles to put them through the deflector dish. It's not just something that you see on Star Trek. Oh, and this is our giant sinkhole.
It's like, what about the girl that got, the girl that got killed in the video? Like, oh yeah, she retired or she resigned. It's like, okay, interesting. What's her phone number? We ain't got. This seems super duper convenient.
And in truth, I'm glad they did that, because as I was watching the episode, I was asking the exact same questions at the same time, and that's a good that is a great example of relatable writing. Like, yes, it's such a shame she's not with us anymore. Oh, so where's she at? I want to buy her a cup of coffee and talk about this. Oh, yeah, well, I do.
The number she gave us doesn't work. Let me try it. What is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, it's like, sure, this is very convenient. But then, of course, the other guy's like, look, man, there's some crazy stuff going on. The sinkhole, and
yo, man, I'm just a janitor, but
David goes to the sinkhole, has this crazy experience / vision. Because of course this show does a great job of straddling the fence of, is this something that's brought on by my mind? Is this something that's real? Or is this something brought on by my mind that is initiated by some kind of power, like they say in the Bible, principalities and powers and stuff.
Right.
They do a good job of playing with this. Now, of course, we've gotten to the literal side where you got Kurt, the doctor, the psychiatrist, literally like cutting his hand, and you seeing him being possessed and all that. But the stuff that we see with Ben, it's like, okay, so is this kind of like guilt in his mind kind of showing up? But it's, there's way too much weird stuff going on for neither of these three to be like, okay, I know that you two don't believe, but you two have been experiencing these same things with me, and not every case has been some crazy person.
Right. So
Like
Christian,
some of
what's
this
up with
stuff.
that stock tip? You know, um,
Oh boy.
yeah. Don't think I forgot. Don't think I forgot about that. Um, but yeah, what I did do, and I found myself doing something that only YouTubers do, which was when Ben got hit with that laser, I went pause, back, pause, pause, pause.
Yeah, I will say the laser scene pausing definitely happened with me because I was like, hold on, let me slow this down, let me pause, let me pause. All right, so it's a whole bunch of like demon iconography and stuff, and so at least that's what's being seen when the laser touches someone, and that's what the images they get.
Right.
So, of course, once again, another vision down in the, and it's never talked about. Like,
In
it's never
fact, it's
talked about.
hidden. And that's the thing that got me because it wasn't like they weren't probing. You
Yeah,
know, now I can see why David doesn't talk a lot because he's got that whole Vatican gag order,
yeah.
you know. But
And
Ben, on the other hand,
you could say, well, he doesn't talk to them like that because they'll never believe him. So he kind of just keeps those things like the stuff that he talks to Sister Andrea with to himself.
right, you know, um, and I'm wondering what's going to go on in this season because 4 times in the past 2 episodes has someone been like, "What, you got mosquitoes?"
Yeah, look, hey, Sister Andrea came through in the clutch. And the funny thing is, when you put up the net, you saw the mosquito outside of the net as Kristen, and she had her like arms folded, like she was pouting, like it was hilarious. And then she just disappeared. It's like, yo, sometimes that's it. Like there's a physical barrier, but there's also like this mental barrier of like, you know what, I'm not giving you any more power as far as like you're not living rent free in my mind anymore.
Right.
Like I'm done thinking about you. I'm done focusing on you. You know, you don't hold any sway on my thoughts or my decisions anymore. And you know, she just went away, or I guess it went away.
But it didn't.
Oh well, yeah, you're right. It didn't, but it went away at the time. It helps.
It doesn't bother him when he sleeps.
Yeah.
And that's all it's for. Now, should he put the mosquito netting on all the walls and the ceiling? Yes, but he's not that wise yet. But yeah, it's you know, the whole plot line that they're doing, I honestly think that it's a very smart one. My best friend and I talk about superhero stuff all the time. And one of the big things that annoys him about The Flash on the CW
Oh boy.
is that the villains are always trying to figure out a way to beat the Flash. Where it should be, since it's the Flash's show, it should be focused on him trying to figure out ways to beat them. And where
Okay.
evil goes forward is that we're looking at the bad guys have a multinational conglomerate corporation. It's working in secret. And you really have to know what you're looking for to even recognize their hand in any of it. I'm like, okay, this is good. Because at the end of the day, our team doesn't even know how far the bad guys' reach is.
Yeah, and it's like they're not trying to. This okay. Oh man, it's well done as far as a plot, but it also annoys you because you know these people are smarter than this.
Do
But
we though?
they're so focused on what's in front of their face. They never take a day, at least one day a week, and be like, all right, guys, let's compare notes. Like, there's some weird stuff going on. All right, what's Leland up to? We ain't seen Leland for a while, but we know he's sneaky. Like, what is he doing?
That's true.
They don't have like that day where they get together and like, okay, what's the larger thing? Like we get the RSM thing, but that kind of flew in and out of the radar. But now it's definitely back in. They've solved it. The missing egg is in the new girl. She's gonna give birth in 38 days, and it's Leland's seed that fertilized the egg. And of course he's gloating and all that stuff. So
Right.
we have that, but we're not even. I don't even think. I don't think Kristen came and told them about the egg yet. I don't think.
She did
Oh, she did. Oh, okay, okay.
at the end of the second episode.
Okay, yeah, yeah, you're right. At the very end, she was like, "All right, y'all, look," but we need more of these. At least in shows like this. If you're a writer, you're listening. Shows like this, at least give me like one or two good circle up, good huddle meetings like a season. Because these people have to. I know they have their own lives, and I know stuff is crazy, and they're hopping from case to case. But sooner or later, someone has to be like, all right, look, I haven't been able to sleep all week because there's this demon girl and she's coming in my room and it's weird and I don't know whether it's real or not. I've tried filming it. I sort of see her on the camera sometimes. Sometimes I don't. I don't know what's going on. And I'm the science guy. I'm the technology guy. So it's super weird to me. Like they never. I don't know, man.
No, again, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. There is nothing less satisfying in a show than when the bad guys win or the bad guys get ahead because the good guys are stupid. And there's a difference between the bad guys being smart and the good guys being stupid.
Yeah. Because
Um,
in season 2, there was this big runaround Goose Chase, and I remember not liking season 2 because I felt like we're just running all over the place. I don't get it. We're running all. But after watching season 2 again, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Basically, we're on the Goose Chase that Leland and I guess Cheryl put Kristen on to try to groom Lexus. So now I'm like, okay, I get that one. Because at first I was like, all right, we're doing all this random stuff, and like Kristen is asleep at the wheel. Like, what's going on? Like her daughter's right there. Y'all need to pay attention. And season 2, where I was like, yeah, the girls are doing a better job. Uh but the Goose Chase that goes on is something that I think could at least be slightly pushed back on by our team just coming together. Like I need them to come together more because this is good. I enjoy the show for the most part.
because they did come together when they were figuring out the sigil stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this better be the way that this show is going. No, it isn't. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna keep the sigil sorta, but we're gonna flow in and out of it. We'll touch on it from time to time.
Yeah. So before we get into my favorite part of the show, can we pour one out for Andy, man?
Man, poor Andy. I mean, okay, here's the thing. Andy's not dead. But I think the reason you're pouring out one for Andy is because, man, Andy can't catch a break in this.
He
And
cannot.
he's the only one that actually isn't doing anything. Like
He
Andy's
really
actually
is.
a good guy. He's minding his business. He's just an average everyday guy, minding his business, chilling, going to work, coming home, nothing.
Being a good dad to his girls.
Yeah,
Like
good
a
dad, just
genuinely
kicking it.
good father.
Yeah, he's just a regular guy minding his business, and like he's been kidnapped. He's been plotted on by his mother-in-law in like the most extreme way of mother-in-law hate. Um, he's been, tortured. Then they turn him into some kind of Manchurian candidate or something. Man, Andy. You know what? I need justice for Andy, but
Yeah.
like I need Andy to like. He has to win in some kind of way, man. Like, he's got to win. I need Andy to. He's got to come through. Because I mean, even he's seeing stuff. But I mean, of course, because he was, in I guess Leland's basement or whatever.
Clutches, as one would say.
Poor Andy, man. Poor
Yeah.
Andy. Man. And then they drugged him up, and now they're making Andy look like they're making Andy look like he's crazy to his wife. And now, honestly, the doctor that he went to see, I don't even know if we can trust that doctor because Leland and the evil demon people got people everywhere.
Exactly.
So I don't even know if I can trust that doctor. Like, man, Andy is really someone who's caught up in something that he has no idea how bad it is. He has no idea. I mean, Lexis and the girls know that Leland's bad, but they don't know this far. Now, I remember we were talking about Lexis in season 3 where Cheryl takes Lexis to see her boss, the manager.
Yeah, because she's got a tail.
Yeah, because she's got a tail. And she has the teeth. So I still think, after watching that episode again, I think Lexis saw the manager as he really is, but lied to Cheryl. I still think that. I don't know why I think that. I just feel like, especially after the wink game where they played at home, where she had to like the wink and kill people at the game at the table. I think Lexis, kind of like when Lexis was like, "Oh, this is Leland, but I need to find out what he wants before I tell mom what's going on." Like, Lexis is super smart.
Like all the kids are.
Well, yeah, but Lexis, she's on point. I think she knows what's going on, and I feel like they're probably going to crack the case before the adults do.
And no one's gonna listen.
They'll be like, "Oh, children." Well, hey, Sister Andrea will listen.
That's true. Now, honestly, there's a good part of me that thinks that there will be a big sort of confrontation between Alexis and Lynn. Because Lynn is all about that nun life right now.
Yeah. And she at least wants to know, she wants to at least know more.
Right.
And, Kristen with her hypocritical butt is like, you can't be a nun. You can't know anything about nun. And look, I'm not pro nun. I guess I'm not really anti nun. I don't really know enough about nunning, but I will say this. Kristen, you prayed, and I'm going to go by your bar. Your bar that you set was that I prayed for God so that my parents wouldn't get divorced, and they did, so I stopped believing him. So even though God is not a genie, you should not make God a genie. But since you made God a genie, we got to go by those rules. So you prayed that Andy would come back, and he did. So by your bar, you should believe God now.
You know what?
But you don't believe God now, and now you're not even going to allow
further. She has been exorcised.
Yeah.
Now I get if she's trying.
I forgot about that. You're right. She was exorcised.
Now, if we are going this whole thing of she is pulling the fingers and ears, la 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 la, to get past it, okay, fine. But show that a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
then have David call her on it every now and then.
Yeah.
Well,
and David doesn't know that he exorcised her. That was the thing.
Well, yeah.
She was in a different room, and he was trying to get at Leland. and I can't even bring him up without gushing because, man, I love Leland. I really do. I don't know if it's because of Michael Emerson. I don't. Actually,
Leland as a character
writing
is awesome. I hate him, but I hate him in a good way because he's written well.
Oh my god! And he has performed so well. And I've seen Michael Emerson in a lot of different things. I saw him. He made his big debut on Lost, which I didn't watch. I did watch Person of Interest.
Yeah, see, that's where I know him from.
Love seeing him in Fallout. And this show, I'm like, dude, this guy is having fun, and I can see why he gets work. He just seems like a cool dude. But with Leland poking and prodding and screwing with Kristen and his on again. Well, how can I put it? I honestly think that he is the best and worst type of ex that you could possibly have in relation to Cheryl.
Yeah, because Cheryl, I'm gonna take this from my wife said. My wife says it a lot. Like, look, let those two crazy people to be together so they don't mess with nobody who's normal. Like, look, let those two crazy people just go in and be together, and then they ain't gotta mess with the normal people. Because if it wasn't for Cheryl, then it would be a normal, everyday lady just minding her business, just going to work and coming home, and Leland would be messing up her life.
Yeah.
So that's I prefer that going and y'all to be together, even though she's crazy. I don't know why Cheryl stays around. It's just hyper desperation, I guess. At least in the beginning, it just seemed like hyper desperation.
Well, I see that I see very much a narcissistic parent trope,
Okay.
but there's so little that we know about this character. How did she get the job with Leland? Why does she stick around in a demon-run corporation? Like, what is her backstory? What's up with Kristen's father?
Because all
was
we
he?
know is that they got divorced. We know that Cheryl cheated on him and that they got divorced. That's all we know.
So yeah, that's a big thing. Although, in the last episode 2, she gets a cool moment. I gotta say, it gets undercut.
Oh yeah, it gets super undercut. But it gets undercut in such a good way because it's like you hate both of these people. So, but it's like you hate them because they're well acted and well written. So you hate both of them. So it's like, that's right. Take that, Leland. And then you're like, yeah, take that, Cheryl.
For me, it was seriously, what did you expect? Because it's like, dude, you work for the bad guys. That is what you do.
Man,
these are literally evil
that
people.
Office was the great. I was like, wow. I was like, they have literally just won the award for petty for like all time.
I can't say that because it is a corporation run by demons. I know what in opposed to. Because when you think about it, an architect had to design that. A construction crew had to put it in the building.
Yeah,
You
like
feel me?
do you know how like evil you have to be be like, all right, look, we're gonna make a room with the glass ceiling and literally put a woman in it. Like, bruh, man, demons really have nothing else to do.
In truth, I think they're just doing their job. But yeah, I mean, that whole thing from the meeting where she spoke out of turn, to Leland giving her that assignment, I'm like, dude, you were wrong. You were wrong, and I'm here for it. And the thing that got me was, seriously, Cheryl, what did you expect? These are not good people. And what you were expecting is something that it's one of the things when my friends come to me for counsel, the only thing that makes me have to take a deep measured breath is when I have to repeat the following phrase. What you are saying is a reasonable request that you are demanding from an unreasonable person.
Okay.
It's the person that you're dealing with has never shown rationality or reason. They're doing what they have always done. And yet you want them to be rational, and you're mad that they're not, but you have no evidence to the contrary at all. In one of my favorite movies, David Bowie looks at a girl who says it isn't fair. And he says, you say that so often, I wonder what your basis for comparison is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, Leland is like, oh, you want them to notice you? Here, go do this. And it's like, she's dealt with his scheming and machination. She's been part of it against
Like
her
they've
own
made her
family.
some kind of like heroin junkie or something. Whatever they're doing with her blood, whatever that brown stuff they're putting in her leg, like why is she still dealing with this? Like,
Yeah.
Crazy. But
and I'm not gonna lie, I like the way that she dealt with the dude, you know?
True.
Yelling and screaming and stepping on her foot. And I'm like, okay. And she has a little bit of a breakdown, needs a moment to contain herself. I'm like, okay, human moment from this character.
I thought she was gonna like hit him right then. Right. Man, look, what I'm gonna leave her alone. I'll go in and move on to I guess you could say the Demon Dog episode.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yep. That's episode 2.
It's called How to Train a Dog.
Uh-huh.
And it's basically about those crazy dogs that we saw in Netflix on Black Mirror episode.
The future is here, bruh.
What Boston Dynamics is making or whatever.
Yeah, the future's here. Okay, robot dogs.
Yeah, because even when the girl that is the friend of Ben, when she was like, oh, here's a demo version, it's just straight from the factory settings, then it's like the dog got up, started scratching at the door. Of course, Lexis opens the door. Then the dog is only interested in Lexis and basically gets ready to attack other girls and attack Kristen. So it's like something's going on, and okay, I want to say this. This is the second case that this girl is involved in. All right, second case. If there's a third, it's her. Okay. I don't want to hear nothing like, oh, well, VidTube or Vid Video or whatever it is, what can we do? Vidtap, it's just the algorithm. I don't know nothing. And then now it's just the dog. I mean, somebody must have did some jailbreaking. Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, in all fairness, I did very much, like, I was following this episode pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fake out. I did like the fake out where it was like, look, man, your dog is just attacking black people. And it was like, oh God, don't even start with me. And then dude shows up and it's like, oh, the black dude is not programming his dog to attack black people.
At least we hope he's not.
Yeah. I mean, it's not far-fetched.
Yeah.
But it's far enough fetched.
Yeah.
But when it was like, wait a second, the dogs are attacking anybody that has an app having to do with religion on their phone. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, that part tracks. That is literally science enough. And the fact that he got the jailbreaking code off of the internet
from one of the sigil sites.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect mixture of like basically saying like, yes, like it kind of like this. I mean, this show references a lot like hold on, let me pull it up so I can quote it right. It's all right. So it's in Ephesians 6:12. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Because technically, this is the dog. Technically, it's the code in the dog, but the code in the dog or the jailbreak code is being written by these demon crazy people that's doing these sigils for the demon houses to bring the end of the world or whatever. Even though I guess no one ever really asked him, it's like, y'all live on this world, right? So when you bring the end of the world, like, you're gonna be there, right? So
it's a metaphor that was brought up, believe it or not, in The Devil's Advocate. It's supposed to bring it into the end of the Christian world and open the door to the world of the Antichrist, where they are promised power and influence and all that jazz. Like, that's the deal. It's, we're going to crumble all this and you're going to rule what we build back.
And that whole part of that code, I was like, this is dope. And the way they flipped it, like you said, with the guy being black and then being like, nah, I just got it from online. I just wanted to change the battery or whatever. It's like, yeah, but this is what it's really doing. And then on top of that, like I said, this is the second case that girl's involved in. You can wear those little librarian glasses all you want to. I'm not going to trust you anymore. All right, you got one more case. All right, one more. Because I already don't trust you. You got one more case, girl. Like, well, look, it's you.
Now, see, one of the things I did dig about the Robot Dog episode, it was subtle. And that's what this show does really well. It shows the subtle influence of evil, either over time or over behavior. What's normally called death by inches. Because, real talk, Farmer Dude... he did what a lot of people do. He heard, hey, you put in this programming, it extends the battery life. All right, cool. Where do I get it? Well, you got to look it up online. And then you go online and you find somewhere that does it, you give it a shot, and it works. You know, no evil in his heart.
Yep.
No, just plain old person using the resources that gets put out there in order to make his life a little easier. And then you have to ask yourself the question, well, who controls the resources to make the lives a little easier? Now, I ain't one of those Illuminati brothers. Y'all need to stop. just stop. But it is a really big thing when it comes to, say, false information or not checking your sources, you know? Like, yeah, I just wanted to turn my older camera into a webcam. Cool. Now, do you have control over when that camera's on? You know, when that camera is hooked into your computer, is it always watching you now? You know?
Yeah.
And those are questions that most people don't ask. We normally don't care. We want our microwave to work.
Yeah, it's true. And nobody, and I mean, even if they did care, I mean, how are they going to ensure that this code doesn't do? They don't know. I mean, if they're not writing the code, they don't know for sure.
Exactly. You know, so it's like the evil gets in on the little risks that we take every day. And I like that.
Yeah, I definitely like the way they displayed that a lot in season 3 as well, which is, I will give them props for. And speaking of season 3, the girl with the glasses that did the demon dog, but also was on the algorithm episode. I have a slight argument. All right, so they're talking about Vidtap, and Vidtap, she brings up a analogy about because they were saying like, hey, you know, people are getting angry on this app, they're getting meaner, blah blah blah, and she's like, that's not my job, that's your job. And she said, talking to David, she was like, hey, if someone gets killed at a picnic spot, you don't blame the picnic spot. And I was like, okay, you're onto something. But here's my slight argument. In this analogy of a picnic spot, you would then be the park rangers. And it's the park rangers' jobs to make sure that the picnic spot is safe for the public to visit. And if they can't make it safe, then they call on the police. You're basically saying that this is your picnic spot and you are park rangers, but you're not going to do anything at all, which is okay. But to say that, don't act like you didn't make this place.
No, you're engaging in the wrong argument.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that's a distraction.
All right.
That's one of those things like, should police carry guns? That's a deep and complex argument. Well, you get what I'm saying?
I think the argument about, because a park ranger, their whole job is to make sure that the park is safe.
Well, see, here's the thing. with the
Or
whole
also make
park,
sure that you got your hunting license and stuff. But
well, with the whole analogy. All right, somebody dies at a picnic spot. You know why it is a BS analogy? Somebody dies. How?
true.
If somebody has a heart attack, there's nothing anybody can do.
Good
If
point.
there's a stampede, well, that might be the park rangers and the Department of the Interior's job to be like, oh man, it's stampede season. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If there's a psycho killer running out, is that the park ranger's job or the police's job? You know, person dies at a picnic site. That's just too vague a thing that shifts responsibility away from the person in question.
Okay, I see where you're going.
You know, again, police shouldn't have guns. True or false? Well, some should, others shouldn't. But to say all or nothing, is a distractionary tactic to avoid nuance. You feel me?
Word.
You know,
But just remember, guys, this is the second case that she's in. Keep your eyes open. I don't trust her.
because I mean, what it was actually said. Oh, we were talking about it in the other show that we do that you guys need to check out. In Discovery, a tool is a tool.
Yeah.
Now, how it's used is different. That's why we have to be cool about, that's why we got to be clear about who we give the tool to.
Yeah, because I mean, you can use this chainsaw to go in and prune a couple trees or even cut a tree down, or you can use this chainsaw chainsaw massacre.
Like you're in Texas, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Texas. We know not all y'all are Leatherface.
Yeah.
Just Leatherface.
Just Leatherface, and that's it.
Yeah, and Dennis Hopper, because if you know, you know. But yeah, it really is just a matter of, there are a lot of folks that are trying to deflect responsibility for all that stuff. But I didn't recognize her from the "This is not a reference to TikTok" episode.
Yeah, because they do that a lot. Like they've referenced incels, they've referenced TikTok, they've referenced essentially, like the BLM movement. They've referenced like a lot of like these writers definitely are on social media, and they want us to know that.
Yeah. So, but I didn't recognize her, but I'll have to look that up. I'll have to look that up and like really look into that because, again, what they've done, what the writers have done with this show is they've established really good antagonists. Really good antagonists. And they do a really good job of implicating Reach. And I like that a lot. However, they keep dropping the ball on our characters a little bit, primarily because it seems that their story will fall apart if they ever compare notes, therefore they don't.
But I'm sure you have. I've seen shows and I've seen movies where the characters compare notes and it's still hard for them to win because you can make like your hero doesn't have to be dumb for the bad guy to win. Like your hero can be smart and still be like, oh man, this guy is just so unpredictable, or this lady is so far ahead, or she's paid off so many people that it's still hard to capture her. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. And
like,
again, this is why I keep saying that Paramount needs to take a little more time with this show. Not that it's relevant because this is the end.
Yeah.
But
we got 9 episodes in this season and then 4 more for season 5, and that's it.
Yeah. And because just a few more passes of the script, and I know scheduling and budgeting and all that other stuff, but so many other shows, even on the same network, do such a better job, So the communication thing is still very huge. Let's hope they get through that by episode 4.
Yeah, and matter of
Um,
fact, if you want to see, this just came to mind. If you want to watch a horror movie, that's a decent horror movie, and no one dies because they were dumb, is was it Lights Out? Lights Out
okay,
is a good one where no one dies because they're dumb.
true.
Like, and I was really impressed with that movie because I was like, you know what? Like, it is hard to beat this girl. And I'll just leave it at that just in case you haven't seen it. But I mean, the movie's like 6 years old. How old is Lights Out? 6, 7 years old. It's kind of old now. But anyway,
Old enough.
but yeah, but yeah, no one dies in that movie because they're dumb. It just, it's just tough. So you can have smart people, and they even make some good decisions. But it's just like, just can't beat this thing. So, but yeah, back to this with I'll say one concept that they introduced in this episode was I guess the concept of like the the being able to perceive or being able to kind of glean insight just off of a conversation where you have what is it, David go in, he does this little test, he has no idea why he's doing it, and that's when he gets passed off to the high evolutionary, but he's able to kind of like perceive what's going on at the same exact time and being able to draw that, and that means that his vision is on a whole nother level.
Well, having followed, read so many fantasy stories, especially supernatural fantasy stories,
Mm-hmm.
that could be the follow-up that I was commenting on earlier. Grace is a clairvoyant. Grace likes David.
True.
David was visited by an angel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with most stories that have angels in them, the angels, and you should know this from Supernatural, they don't do a whole lot.
Yeah, because I think writers are too scared of the Superman problem, but I don't think the Superman problem is really a Superman problem. I think it's a writer's issue with not being able to handle evil as
Not
well.
quite. Not quite.
I always thought they
The
were scared that if we let angels be super strong, then the demons can't win or something like that. So I always that's how I kind of felt about the show when I was watching it. Not that I didn't like it, but
it's the second half of the Superman problem. It's
okay.
the Superman with the Justice League problem, which is, why are the rest of them there?
Yeah, because then Sam and Dean are kind of cut out of their own show.
Yeah, so the angel visited David, and now he has prescience, and that could have been the thing. Because like in most stories concerning angels, they pop in, they either say something or they give the main character a thing, and then they bounce.
Yeah,
until
which is kind of like, all right, man, look, this ain't all right. The bad guys is getting all kinds of help, and you just come in and give me a sentence and be gone. Like,
yeah,
do y'all want to win the spiritual war or not? No. Oh man,
and
like, are
one
y'all
of the
even
reasons
trying?
well one of the reasons for that is that the spiritual war they gotta fight is on a different plane. So this is our house, so it's kind of like a cousin that comes over and says, look, I know you got to clean up, here's a vacuum, all right, I'm out. Because if I clean this up, you don't learn nothing, but let me give you the tool that you're going to need to do it right. Feel me?
I feel you on that.
Because the big angel fight that we see is in Revelations, and it's all bloody and across the sky, and the seas run red with blood and all that stuff. And the second part is when we're looking at popular media, okay? Every single religion on earth, i.e., within the market, either has a demon equivalent or is acceptant of Western civilization's depiction of demons. Thank you, Allegory and John Milton. So they can show demons all the time. However, the forces of the good guys vary greatly across culture, and angels, specifically active angels with powers, is particularly a Catholic thing.
Yeah, so I guess it does get kind of like everybody. I get you on that. Everybody kind of knows, like, all right, demons, horns, like crackly old, like non-lotioned up skin,
Well,
and like red eyes.
well,
And
even on a different note, okay? Let's say you lived in a country that the Christian church has never actually converted, right?
Mhm.
Demons still qualify as monsters.
True. Yeah.
So it's a universally relatable topic, okay? But what would angels identify as? Well, if you go with the biblical description, monsters. If you go with Western civilization's perception, they are messengers from the Abrahamic God.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And writers,
Like some of them are messengers, some of them are warriors. It kind of depends on what you read or also what you believe. Some people might be like, oh well, nah, they're still just a messenger. It's like, yeah, but they kind of they toasted everybody in the city. Yeah, but they were just a messenger.
well, that was the message.
Yeah, the message was that all y'all gotta go.
you know but yeah, so when it comes to writing stories that are meant for a mass market, what do you do when your antagonist can be universally rationalized, but your protagonists are specific to one set of cultures on the planet?
Okay.
This is why angels don't do a lot in stories. So the second half of the Superman equation, and are people who don't come from a Christian background gonna deal with this?
I get you on that.
I mean, those of us that study this stuff, I could write a story about angels that no one would like, because I would make them accurate, but that gives them severe limitations.
Yeah, because there's as
Yeah.
far as like even on my side where I'm like, okay, well, I need y'all to do some more helping. It's like, well, they really don't help in that way. Like they don't. At least if you're gonna say if you're gonna make them hyper accurate, it's really like, hey, here's the message. All right, y'all, peace.
Yeah, essentially,
Except unless you're like an archangel, then it's like, all right, yeah, so this whole city got to go.
well, even in a lot of the writings, angels, and this is really the big difference between the fall, okay? Demons can do what they want. Angels have specific tasks. Okay. The hierarchy of heaven is essentially the canonized translation of "not my job." I'm serious. And since angels, by what they have, by their position and their powers, don't have free will, they cannot act of their own accord.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if an angel was created to make sure the tomatoes are red, that's all that angel can do. That's it. It's got all the powers in the universe to make sure that tomatoes are red.
Dang. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. It would be like just a bunch of like celestial entities that are just like, all right, here's this message. I'm
Yeah,
out.
yeah. I mean,
It's like, no. What's the rest? Oh no, I can't tell you anything else.
yeah.
It's just
Look,
this is the
as
message.
somebody that literally just went broke paying his motorcycle registration, um, it's straight up bureaucracy. Just straight up. You know, it's can't you give me my tags? Well, you need insurance. Oh, well, now I gotta go call an insurance company. But you're sitting there and you can push the button. Yeah, I could push the button. Not my job. It's your job to go get insurance. Feel it? You feel me?
I can't press the button until you get this. And then, oh, I know you waited for an hour, but you're in the wrong line.
Exactly.
Shouts out to the DMV on what is it? Was it Washington? Washington. Shouts out to the DMV on Washington Boulevard in LA, because lady straight up put me in the line. Then I get to the front and they're like, this the wrong line. I'm like, but that lady right there said I need to be in this line. And she looked and she said, it's the wrong line. I was like, yo, look, I just want to get out of here. Oh man. But anyway, I know we've been running long. I'm gonna kick it over to you. Final thoughts on the season's return, on the show's return, and where can they find you?
So my final thought is I was pleasantly surprised because I'm not really exposed to a lot of advertisement. So I was literally watching an episode of Discovery and it was like, up next, Evil, streaming now. I'm like, what? It's back?
Like, oh snap, it's back.
You know, so really enthusiastic. The season is kind of off to a slow start for it to be the final season.
Yeah, because since season 5 is only 4 episodes, it's kind of like the final-ish season.
Yeah,
and they gotta kind of get it moving because they have what
they got 13 episodes.
13 episodes left,
and we got kind of spoiled with X-Men 97. Check out the link to that one.
Man, X-Men 97 got a lot of these people on notice. Like, yo, y'all gotta tighten up these stories and y'all gotta come with it.
But I'm in. I'm really in because I need to know how it ends. I mean, we're literally talking the biggest scale that you can do on this tier, which is destruction of the world of man is hanging in the balance. We're not talking about slow heat death of the universe. We're just talking, you know, all life as we know it will either cease or it will continue as it is, and we'll find out that the apocalypse happened a long time ago. And I want to know where they're going to go with this. I really do. And if y'all want more discussions on storytelling and things like that, come and check me out over at twitch.tv/bid_p. And check out the archive over on Solar Gray's YouTube channel, or look up at Solar Gray, at BidPNerd, or BidP Blurred. And, you know, talk to me in the comments and all this jazz. Because I think we need a little controversy in this one, so y'all can at me on that one.
Yeah, evil is back, y'all. I'm happy. So, I guess final thoughts. I really want to see a sense of urgency in these last 13 or so episodes. I want to see some more high evolutionary Luke Cage, work. I want to see where Sister Andrea fits in, Grace fits in, where this new whole kind of quantum vision or whatever they're gonna call it that David has in. Like, I want to see where this stuff goes, and I want a solid ending. I mean, we got a solid ending from Star Trek Discovery. So come on, guys, we need whether the good guys or the bad guys win. We need a solid ending. So going to stick that landing. But with that said, NERD, SOUL, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, podcast, all that jazz. And until the next time that you made sure that you have a demo version of a RoboDog in your house, but it's still doing crazy stuff, we're just saying peace.